Hey, what's going on everybody? How are you people doing here? Back again with another football video here, and today I'm going to be picking the best player for every squad at the World Cup. That's right, and including the squads that are still in contention to qualifying for the World Cup. So anyways, let's just get into this video, shall we? So starting off with this video, I'm going to do each group alphabetically, so that's how it's going to go from A all the way to group H. So yeah, let's do it, man. So starting for Qatar, I'm going to go with Alfonso Davis, who currently has 39 Gs in 74 appearances for the Qatar national team. So far that is an absolutely impressive stat, and I think that Alfonso Davis could be the biggest key difference for Qatar at the World Cup if Qatar can somehow be a competitive team here in this group, because at only just 25 years of age he already has 39 Gs, so that is just absolutely incredible in my opinion. So moving on to the Ecuador national team right now, I'm going to go with Piero Hincapié, if that's how you pronounce his last name. He currently plays for Bayer Leverkusen, but so far it looks like he could have a great career for Leverkusen in my opinion, not only because he's starting off his career pretty decently, I have to say, but I think that Hincapié could be the biggest key difference for the Ecuador national team at the World Cup. Now moving on to the Senegal national team, that's obviously a no-brainer here. Sadio Monte, man, he's absolutely been the biggest key difference maker for the team here, and you know, for Senegal, I think that Monte is going to make the biggest impact for him at the World Cup, not only because of his incredible talent, but obviously Monte here for Senegal. I think that with him anything is possible for the Senegal national team. And for the Netherlands, obviously I'm going with Van Dijk, not only because he's obviously the best player on their team, but mostly because I think that as long as he's fully healthy with them, and as long as he continues to make regular appearances for the Netherlands national team, I think that anything is possible for this team, especially at the World Cup. If they want to compete with teams like England, Germany, France, then yeah, Van Dijk, with him right there, I think the Netherlands can pretty much do anything. So moving on to Group B for the England national team, I'm going to have to go with Harry Kane here, man, without a doubt. Obviously Harry Kane, he's the top goal scorer for the England national team heading into this World Cup. Now looking at the Iran national football team, I'm going to go with Ehsan Safi, if that's how you pronounce his last name, who currently plays for AEK Athens. He's currently a left back, but the most impressive part about Safi here is that, you know, he's the team captain for the Iran national team, so I thought it was only fair that I would include him, since obviously him being the team captain, he kind of reminds me of a David Alba type player, because he can also play as a defensive midfielder, a winger, a left midfielder, and as a left back. So obviously Safi looks like an absolutely versatile player, and I think that his versatility could be the biggest key difference for the Iran national team. As for Team USA here, this time I'm going to go with Weston McKennie here, you know, not only because he's improved for Juventus despite him, you know, being injured, but I think there at Juventus, Weston McKennie can become a very solid midfielder for them in the near future, and I think his midfield presence will absolutely be crucial for Team USA at the World Cup, so that's why I would have to go with Weston McKennie. Now for the next group, it's still going to be determined between Wales, Scotland, and Ukraine, so any of these three nations could qualify. They will be competing for that final group spot, but if the Wales manage to qualify, I'm going to go with Gareth Bale. For Scotland, Andrew Robertson, and for Ukraine, I'm going to go with Malinovsky. And now for Group C for Argentina, without a doubt, that's a no-brainer here. Lionel Messi, man, without a doubt, the most important player for the Argentina national team. And for the Saudi Arabia national team, I decided to go with Al-Shahrani. And for the Mexico national team, I think it's a choice between either Edison Alvarez, you know, Raul Jimenez, or Memo Ochoa. But if I had to pick any one out of those three players, I'm definitely going with Memo Ochoa, just because I think it's going to depend on how well he can perform at the World Cup in order for Mexico to advance. Just because obviously at World Cups, Ochoa has always had incredible appearances, particularly 2014, you know, when he saved that powerful header from Neymar, and then the 2018 World Cup where he saved a brilliant free kick attempt from Toni Kroos. So obviously Ochoa has always had incredible saves at World Cup, so that's why I think it's fair to select Memo Ochoa for being the best player for the Mexico national team. And for Poland, obviously the main man, Lewandowski himself. Now for Group D for France, I think it's either a choice between Mbappe and Karim Benzema, but if I had to choose here, I'm going to go with Karim Benzema, not only because he's been balling out in the Champions League knockouts here, but obviously he's arguably the favorite to win the Ballon d'Or, so obviously that's why I would have to go with Karim Benzema. And for the Denmark national team, I'm going to go with Kasper Schmeichel, obviously just because I think he's been the one that performed the best for them at, you know, the tournaments. And for Tunisia, I'm going to go with Khazri, and it's still going to be determined between Peru, Australia, and the United Arab Emirates. So for Peru here, I'm going to go with Tapia. For the Australian national team, I'm going to say Matthew Ryan, their keeper. And for the United Arab Emirates, I'm going to go with Walid Abbas. Now for Group E for Spain here, I'm going to go with Laporte. I think he's going to be the best player for Spain at the World Cup, just because I think he's going to be absolutely crucial for Spain's defense. And who knows, maybe he could develop into another Sergio Ramos type player for Spain. It's still too early to say, but I think that Laporte has all the qualities of Sergio Ramos. So that's why I decided to go with Laporte for Spain. And for Germany here, I'm going to say obviously Manuel Neuer here. I think it's a crossover between Kimmich and Goretzka, but if I had to pick here, I think that Manuel Neuer is still without a doubt best player on the Germany national team. And I think that no keeper right now for Germany is going to be able to overtake Manuel Neuer's national starting position. So yeah, Manuel Neuer still, in my opinion, the most consistent player for the Germany national team. And for the Japan national team, I'm going to go with Kamada here just because he's been having an absolutely incredible season for Frankfurt. So that's why I decided to select Kamada for the Japan national team. And obviously for that final spot in the group, it's still going to be determined between New Zealand and Costa Rica. But for New Zealand, I'm going to say Chris Wood. And for Costa Rica, obviously, I'm going with Keylor Navas, hands down best player for the Costa Rica national team, especially these past, I have to say, 2 World Cups. Keylor Navas has been the biggest key difference. Even though in 2018, Costa Rica had a disappointing World Cup, still can't forget about Keylor Navas' incredible performances at the 2014 World Cup. And I think this World Cup will be another great opportunity if Costa Rica manages to qualify for Keylor Navas to once again prove why he's the best player for the Costa Rica national team. Now for Group F here, I'm going with Kevin De Bruyne for Belgium. I think it's all going to depend on him, on how well Belgium can perform, because obviously Kevin De Bruyne, he's in consideration for the best midfielder in the world. So that's why I would have to say Kevin De Bruyne for the Belgium national team. And for Canada here, I'm going to go with Alfonso Davis, you know, not only because I think he's made the biggest impact here for Team Canada, but I think this World Cup will be a great opportunity for Alfonso Davis to once again prove why he could be a top 5 left back. Depending on how Alfonso Davis will be utilized at the World Cup, I think that he's going to be the one to watch out for on Team Canada here, you know, as being the best player. And for Morocco, I decided to go with Hakimi. Now, normally for Morocco, I'd probably say Hakim Ziyech, but he already retired, so I'm going to go with Hakimi as being the best player on the Morocco national side. And for Croatia here, I'm going with Luka Modric here just because I think that as long as Luka Modric is playing for Croatia, I think that, you know, Croatia, they can pretty much accomplish almost anything, whether it's the World Cup or the Euros. So now heading into Group G here for Brazil, I'm going to go with Neymar, obviously, just because hands down Neymar is going to be the most important player for Team Brazil at the World Cup. So now looking at the Serbia national team here, normally I'd probably go with Vlahovic or Dusan Tadic, but I think it's safe to say Alexander Mitrovich, without a doubt, the best player on the Serbia national team. Not only it's because he's been so crucial for them in these World Cup qualifiers here, but he scored the game winner for Serbia against Portugal in the last game to determine who's going to clinch that #1 spot for the qualifiers for the World Cup. So that's why I decided to go with Alexander Mitrovich, not only because of that, but he's also been having an absolutely incredible season for Fulham. He's the main reason why Fulham managed to win promotion to the Premier League. Now looking at the Switzerland national team here, I'd probably say either maybe Seferovic, Xhaka, or Shaqiri, or Jan Sommer. Those are my top 4 choices. But if I had to pick here, I'm going to go with Jan Sommer here, just because obviously his goalkeeping recently for Switzerland has been absolutely incredible, and I think that Jan Sommer, without a doubt, the biggest, most important key player for the Swiss national side here. So yeah, Jan Sommer, man, best player on the Switzerland national team. And for Cameroon here, I'm going to go with Vincent Aboubakar, not only because he had an incredible Africa Cup of Nations performance in the entire tournament, but obviously he's been the top goal scorer for the Cameroon national side at the Africa Cup of Nations, and I think that Aboubakar is going to be the player that I think can determine how well Cameroon will perform at the World Cup in this very difficult group. Because if Aboubakar can put on an incredible performance at the World Cup like how he did at the Africa Cup of Nations, then I think that Cameroon can without a doubt challenge for a top 2 spot in this group. And now looking at Group H here for Portugal, obviously I'm going to go with Cristiano Ronaldo here, hands down best player for Portugal, man, can't argue against them. CR7 without a doubt, I think he could have what it takes to finish at the top goal scorer at the World Cup, because that's what I had in one of my prediction videos on who I think will finish as the top goal scorer. I'm still saying that CR7, he's going to make the biggest impact for the Portugal national team, and I think he could finish the World Cup as the top goal scorer. And for Ghana, I'm going to go with Thomas Partey here, man. You know, Thomas Partey, he's been doing really well recently for Arsenal, and I think it's safe to say for Ghana, Thomas Partey, biggest key player for their team. And for Uruguay, I'm going to say Luis Suarez here, and for South Korea, it's Heung-min Son. So yeah, ladies and gents, those are the players that I think are the best players for their national sides and teams. So if you enjoyed this video, drop a like, drop a comment, and if you have any of your own opinions on who you think is the best player for each national side, then then also let me know in the comments section below.